Yo, in today's video, we'll be looking at creepy and strange TikToks that are going to make you question everything. So this the UFO everyone was seeing, huh? The one that looks like an eye? It does kind of look like an eye. Look like it's opening up and closing.
People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
Hey, look at this, y'all. That's CGI. He's not even there right now. They've been trying to fool us. Look at the microphone. It's like behind his hand. And the top of his head looks like the sky. Like it's just cut off. This is CGI. We got to be careful nowadays. It's like a green screen. It's not CGI. It's a green screen. My bad. Clearly a green screen.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Then all of the times we witnessed that it was someone wearing a mask.
You can't tell me this is normal. Look at his forehead. This is bullshit. That's a mask. That's a skin mask. It ain't normal. Look at it.
North Carolina. And he was a very conservative guy who was very, very...
Oh my gosh, that's a mask.
African American.
Holy cow.
Mr. Ford, what advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die.
Whoa, whoa. Is Sleepy Joe still here? Because this was a long time ago. He talking about this.
And the woman will become president under the law or constitution. And once that barrier is broken, from then on, men better be careful, because they'll have a hard time ever even getting a nomination in the future. But that's the way it's going to happen, and I think it'll probably come sometime in the next 4 or 8 years.
Across the millennium years is crunch time in this whole agenda, crunch time for the human race. This is the time when this network of interbreeding bloodlines wants to bring in its global fascist structure of a world government to which nation states would be administrative units, of a world central bank and a world currency, a currency that wouldn't be cash, it would be merely electronic, for which there are fundamental implications for human freedom. And also the World Army, which is designed to be NATO, expanding and expanding as it is now, of course, to become the fully fledged World Army, World Police Force. And underpinning that little lot is designed to be a microchip population, in which we are microchipped with our financial details, our medical details, etc., etc. And that would allow not only electronic tagging, people knowing where we are all the time, it would allow the external manipulation through this electronic means of our mental and emotional processes. This will happen unless the human race wakes up and wakes up fast. And to do that, we need to understand what's really going on. And to let people know that, we've got to stop beating about the bush, stop pulling punches, stop pussyfooting around, keeping information from people, oh my goodness, how will they react, and just say, this is going on, take it or leave it, make of it what you will, but this is what's going on.
Yo, that's crazy, because that was a long time ago, and everything he was saying is basically coming true. And then when Hoover was talking about the vice president being, a woman and something happening, then he said it would happen in 4 to 8 years. Which president are we on right now? Isn't it like 48? I don't know if that was a coincidence or what, but I don't really believe in coincidences. All the people talking about conspiracy theorists is crazy. Listen, y'all need to wake up. This is in Georgia, huh? What kind of storm is that? Look crazy. I'm out of there.
I don't know if any of you guys got this in the mail, but I got this today. Selective service system. I guess, guys, we're going to war. Failure to comply with these requirements is a violation of the Military Selective Service Act. The maximum penalty for a violation of this act is $250,000 fine or 5 years in prison or both.
Wow.
Damn. That's wild. That's wild. Even give me another one too.
This can get really bad really fast, so pay attention. One of the leaders of Hamas has been taken out in Iran, the capital of Iran, via airstrike. Now, no one officially knows who did the airstrike, but what we do know, only hours ago, Israel did close off their airspace in the northern territories. To make things even more crazy, a lot of other leaders who are allied with Iran were visiting Iran's president's first day of being the president, to include the guy who's been taken out. Some other big indicators that this strike came from Israel, Lloyd Austin of the United States actually mentioned only hours before this strike, the U.S. will defend Israel if Iran tries to do anything to Israel. Again, he was not indicating he even knew that this would happen, but again, a lot of things and evidence, it's pointing towards Israel that they were the ones who did this strike. I mean, without a doubt, you can only expect Iran will do something about this.
Keep going, you're good. One day people gonna realize that Israel is the United States. Like, when they say they'll defend Israel, no, they're defending themselves at the end of the day.
That's so weird. What is that?
You got another UFO?
What the fuck?
What he said.
What in the world?
People seeing all type of stuff in the sky.
I was reading about the fires currently happening in Oregon, and I came across part of an article that made me want to shit fucking bricks. and we're gonna talk about it right fucking now. Small panic. So in case you're unaware, we have the largest fire in the nation burning in Oregon. From what I understand, it started out as 2 fires and merged into 1. But that's not the interesting part about this. Some 2,800 lightning strikes observed Wednesday caused more than 60 new fire starts, satellite imagery showed. Now, I know that we have a lot of lightning strikes that happens yearly. But for almost 3,000 of them to hit one location in one fucking night, to touch ground? Here's some statistics about lightning strikes. And here is a map of the fire just in case you're curious. According to the different articles that I've read, firefighters have been able to contain 0% of this fire. Not only that, apparently they keep raising and lowering like the need of evacuation or the evacuation meter or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It keeps going back and forth between you have a couple of hours to get out and get out now. There are people posting from this state stuck in the fire. They can't leave their fucking house. And I have no fucking idea how to help these people.
Y'all remember this guy?
That's crazy.
Well, you already knew that. Yet, you still live a life that you dread.
Excuse me.
3 years later, and you're all still concerned about that woman. Well, I can assure you, she is more alive and more grounded than ever. She just happens to be experiencing a new timeline. Remember, we really do live in a multiverse.
He put that hoe in the tree. Crazy.
The Los Angeles Police Department has launched an investigation after video showed an officer punch a handcuffed man during an arrest.
These officers be wildin'. That's all I'm gonna say.
Police officials said the altercation happened following a traffic stop Sunday. It's unclear what led to the traffic stop. In a post on X, LAPD said the officer involved has been removed from field duties. Civil rights leaders are planning to attend a police commission meeting Tuesday to address the incident.
You guys hear that in the sky? You hear that?
It's over there and then
Mm-mm-mm. Those people stuck in here? Why? Why are people stuck in there? Oh snap. See? People seeing UFOs everywhere. Them up just disappeared.
Every time I get on here, I see another one. Like, this says smoke, smoke, smoke.
Wow, that's the same person. They busy at the clone factory, ain't they?
Great gentleman. So we're gonna bring him up for. Can we bring him up for a couple of minutes?
So people seen this guy on the roof, literally, he running across, and he was still able to do that close.
The world will see a vibrant Republican Party.
All right, so here's my issue. If he is pew-pewing from that angle, right? How he just shoot him in the ear, like, and it go through the ear. The angle should kind of go through the head. I don't know, though. I'm not a sharpshooter. I'm not a marksman. But I do a lot of math and geometry, and the angles ain't adding up. Like, from that angle, like, that's a clear shot. But in today's time, with all the AI and CGI, you don't know what's real or what's not, right? And this is days later that this footage is coming out. I don't know who edited that or who could have edited that or if they edited that. Like, you really don't know nowadays. Oh, what she say? I gotta read this. When you find out polio is in Gaza's water, but not in Israel's, and you know how it spreads, but in a war zone, and remember where it was present first in the last 3 years.
Iran has responded to Israel. Are we really about to be in an all-out war? Straight from Khamenei, who is the supreme leader of Iran, the criminal Israeli regime martyred our dear guest in our territory and has caused our grief, but it has also prepared the ground for a severe punishment. Now, a lot of people are speculating, will there be an all-out war? Something big is going to happen. Understand, Lloyd Austin,
I'm just saying, these politicians is wild. They go on Twitter, just like everybody else, and say, you know what? We finna bring the war to you. Get ready. Who does that? If I'm really finna bring the war to you, I ain't saying nothing. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they on? Bet. Be quiet. We finna go over there silently and cause some damage. But they go on Twitter, let the world know what's about to happen, put everybody on Front Street, and now everybody's worried and concerned and thinking about war and on the edge and fears in everyone's mind.
Top general of the U.S. military has already stated, we will back Israel, and the U.S. military is prepared to fight off Iran if they decide to go after Israel. Something else that makes this all complex is that Israel went specifically after Hamas. However, it was in Iranian territory. So Iran is saying, well, you struck in our sovereign nation, so we have the right to strike back. However, the beef is between the factions with Israel, whether it's Hezbollah or Hamas. So again, there's a lot of different storylines that could happen here. As far as an all-out war, I think we're just going to see a very big response from the other factions, the militia groups who are backed by Iran. I don't think Iran will actually go directly for Israel.
Good afternoon, I'm Philip Palmer, and we are breaking into programming ever so briefly to let you know what you experienced about 10 minutes ago. You probably felt it, but just we have a little bit of detail. There was a 4.9 earthquake that hit right at 1 o'clock. This, according to the earthquake data center that we're looking at, that's right now the magnitude of 4.9. But what was interesting is it was followed up by two fairly quick aftershocks. One was at 103.33. The other was at 105.19. And so you had three quick earthquakes. One was 4.9, 3.5, and 2.8. And the epicenter was roughly 14 miles east-northeast of Barstow. So 114 miles away from us. And we here in Los Angeles felt the earthquake that hit roughly about 10 minutes ago. So you did experience the earthquake. It was fairly quick. But again, there were three of them right back to back to back within about 5 minutes. This is the map where you can see the earthquake itself and then some of the spots that actually felt it. Again, this first earthquake was a 4.9, and then that was followed by two smaller earthquakes, likely aftershocks, 3.5 and 2.8. When we have these small earthquakes like this, it's not likely we had any damage here. But it is very important to understand what you're supposed to do. This is a great reminder of what to do in the event of an earthquake, because while this one might not have caused any damage for us, it is almost a test run for what happens, because it happens in an instant. You don't know if you're at the front end of it or the end of it, but you check yourself, of course. You look for and extinguish any small fires. Make sure you leave the gas on at the main valve unless you smell gas or you think it's leaking. And it's also a good note at this moment to make sure you're familiarizing yourself with your gas main and how to turn it on and off. You need to clean up any spilled medicines, bleaches, gasoline, open closets and cabinet doors very cautiously. And again, it's another opportunity. If you have things in your house that might fall in the event of an earthquake, this is a good time. Make a run to Home Depot or Lowe's or your local hardware store. Go to Ace and get the items that will attach safely things to the wall or the house so that they don't fall and hurt you in this. But you also want to make sure your neighbors are okay. You want to watch for any fallen power lines. These are things to make sure that you're familiar with. And again, expect aftershocks like what happened in Barstow. There were two of them right afterwards. But this is the type of thing that you need to prepare yourself for now. It was 4.9 at its epicenter in Barstow. So we are not going to likely see any damage here, but there was certainly shaking. We did feel it here in Glendale, and so it will have been felt all around the area. So this is an opportunity to really prepare yourself. We have all of this information on our website. ABC7.com. It is another opportunity to build a plan for yourself and make sure that you're ready in the event something much bigger happens, or maybe we are much closer to the epicenter.
This in East Illinois. Oh snap! Y'all see that?
Oh my god.
That's a UFO. That's a mothership.
Oh my god.
Is something happening on August 8th? So this guy on TikTok is reading parts of his book he wrote, and the book talks about Project Looking Glass. If you haven't heard about it, you need to go look it up. According to him, the people at Project Looking Glass have had August 8th, 2024 in their calendars for years and have something very big planned. Will something big happen on August 8th? Or is it gonna pass just like every other day? And what do you think could happen? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want to hear more crazy stuff like this, be sure to give me a follow.
Hi guys, I got a secret to tell y'all. First thing, I'm gonna let y'all know that I'm in Egypt. For you guys that don't know, for you that don't know, Illinois is Egypt. And what I also want to tell y'all is this. They're lying about Miami, Florida. Don't you know the University of Miami is actually in Ohio? That means that Miami is in Ohio. It's not in Florida. Say, I know this probably going to be the shortest video I ever done, but I will tell you this, guys. Y'all need to start doing y'all research. They lying about a whole bunch of stuff. And the reason I know that Florida is not the home of Miami is because I had went to Miami, which is in Ohio, and I seen the University of Miami in Ohio. And not only that, I was in Ohio the other day, and guess what else I seen? Miami River. So why is Miami in Florida and not in its original place, Ohio? This is how they getting y'all. That's why I be telling y'all, do y'all research, do y'all research. That part.
France. So apparently the fiber optic networks of several telecommunications operators were sabotaged in 6 areas of France yesterday, and apparently Paris was not affected, and this comes just 3 days after the coordinated arson attack on high-speed trains in France that attempted to interfere with the Olympics. And the French Interior Minister said they have identified several suspects in the arson attacks on the trains last week, and that they bear the fingerprints of the far left. And there was another attack on critical infrastructure in Europe today. German police announced that the railway line between Bremen and Hamburg was sabotaged. 2 cable installations were set on fire in an act of sabotage. So 6 areas of France had fiber optic networks sabotaged, guys, okay? And an attack on a railway line in Germany, sabotage attack. Okay, there was a mass stabbing situation today. A number of people were stabbed by a knife-wielding attacker targeting a children's. There was nothing anybody could do to stop this animal. So we currently have 2 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air over the United States. And we also have what appears to be an evacuation flight from Lebanon. So we have the C-17 that left Beirut a couple of hours ago and is heading up to the Baltic countries. And it's a SAC heavy airlift wing C-17. So it does appear that people are being evacuated from Beirut. This could be a Lithuanian or Latvian C-17. It's really hard to say. Or it could be a U.S. C-17. If it's part of the SAC heavy airlift wing, then it's probably a U.S. C-17. Maybe they're just stopping over in the Baltics for some reason. But we also have Forte 11 doing a really dense pattern here in Estonia, right near the Russian border. I have never seen Forte 11 do this before. This is very, very concerning. They've been flying this thing in Poland the last week or two every single night. And this is the first time I've seen them fly in Estonia. Okay, so this is a sign that Russia is getting ready to invade the Baltics. Now, last week I reported that Russia is deploying military hospitals across all their major cities, including Moscow. And also, Putin asked all state-owned businesses to relocate to Siberia and to submit a relocation plan by October the 1st. I want to just play this video for you. This is coming from the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon, and this lady here says that U.S. citizens need to be prepared to shelter in place for long periods of time. Check this out. This was put out today.
We recommend U.S. citizens develop a crisis plan of action and leave before a crisis begins. Regularly scheduled commercial transportation is always the best option while local communications and transportation infrastructure are intact and operating normally. Please make sure that your U.S. passports are valid for at least 6 months. If not, you should make an appointment to renew your U.S. passport through the U.S. Embassy website. Should commercial air not be available, individuals already in Lebanon should be prepared to shelter in place for long periods of time.
Wow. Let's play that again.
Individuals already in Lebanon should be prepared to shelter in place for long periods of time. Individuals already in Lebanon should be prepared to place for long periods of time.
Be shelter in place for long periods of time. Wow.
And finally, if your relatives are planning to visit you in Lebanon this summer, please strongly encourage them to reconsider their travel, given the difficulties that would hinder departure should conflict increase in the region. Preparation is key to crisis preparedness, and I hope you will take a moment to follow up on these steps so that we can help you keep you and your family safe.
Wow. Absolutely crazy, guys. Okay, so from all directions. Okay, the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah, Iranian proxies, Syria, they're constantly bombarding Israel every single day. And late last night, we had 5 aerial refuelers go overseas into Europe. We had 4 of them take off from Grissom Air Base in Indiana, and 1 took off from Fairchild. So this is an indication that Israel is going to do a large aerial refueling support. So we're sending our aerial refuelers over there. And now we're hearing that Lufthansa and Austrian Airlines have canceled their flights to Ben Gurion International Airport in Israel. Wow. And a number of passengers traveling from Beirut International Airport were informed today that their flights had been canceled. So massive cancellations in Beirut International Airport. And starting tonight until Sunday, train services in northern Israel will be suspended, and Germany has reiterated its calls for citizens to leave Lebanon immediately. Italy is now calling on its citizens to leave Lebanon immediately. So we have Germany, Italy, Sweden, Belgium, France, Denmark, and I think there's like 1 or 2 more. So over half a dozen countries now telling their citizens to leave immediately.
Yo, what's really going on in Lebanon and overseas? And are we really about to go to war? You know, you got people receiving draft letters. You got countries saying evacuate. You got ex-presidents getting shot in the ear. You know what I'm saying? You got people getting blew up from bomb strikes, air strikes. It's just the world is chaotic right now. Yet we still have the Olympic Games going on. Ain't that something? But yeah, guys, these are some of the most creepy and strange TikToks that are out there. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bells on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.